my locks turned out at the end of the day, I'm not mad at all. Hey beautiful, welcome back. My name is Midi, and when we're talking about perfect lock size, we're talking about the lock size that is going to be perfect for your look, perfect for your lifestyle and your maintenance capacity. Believe it or not, there are different sizes of lock that you could get on your head. And looking at this chart over here, you can see we have a lot actually, and just looking at it on the chart might not actually give you the exact way that is going to look on your head, okay? And so because of that, based on these sizes, I'm going to categorize these sizes you're seeing on the chart in 3 categories. And the first category is going to be sister lock, second category micro locks, and the third is going to be traditional lock. These categories are based on the sizes that they come with. So when we're talking about sister locks, the size of sister lock that you could get is as small as the size of a thread, as tiny as the size of a thread, and the biggest that you can get with sister lock is as thick as a strand of yarn. Believe me, sincerely, when you just finish installing sister locks, they are so tiny, but they never go beyond a particular size. Though the way they appear on different people, because of the different type of hair that we have, may look different, okay, but it is the smallest size of lock type that you could get. Okay, there are a couple of people and lock sisters that carry sister locks, and I'm going to put pictures of like a couple of them here for you to see exactly what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, if you feel like you love sister lock and you think it's going to look great on you, then there are some things that you should put into consideration before you conclude on it. Okay, the first thing that you want to know about sister lock is that the initial installation and the subsequent maintenance of sister lock is quite high, though it depends on your location, but generally it is high. Okay, even here in Nigeria, it is high. It could be as high as 60 something and 100 plus for the initial installation of sister lock. But one thing about sister lock is that compared to your loose natural hair maintenance, over time sister lock is quite cheaper than that. Okay, when you compare the two afterward. Another thing you want to know about sister lock is that it could be as tiny as ever, like I said earlier on, but it does not go beyond a particular size. Like there are established sizes for it, and they are not much. In case you feel, okay, I love sister locks, but I would like mine to be a little bit bigger than this. The thickest that they can go for, the biggest size that sister lock can go for is established. It doesn't go beyond that size. Okay, another thing that you should think about thoroughly is that you're going to be spending and dedicating a lot of time for your retie. Okay, if you're the type that you feel you don't have much time at hand, or you cannot sit down for long while your hair is being styled or installed, then sister lock might not be for you, because it takes a long time for it to get done. Okay, you know, depending on the number of locks that you will be installing afterward, the number of locks that you could install with sister lock could be like 300. And when I say 300, I'm talking about small sized head. This is something that you usually see from children because of the size of their head. But if you have big sized head and you have high density hair, then you're going to be having a lot of strands of locks on your head. Okay, the higher the number of locks on your head, the higher the time that you'll be spending to do your retie. Okay, another thing I would love you to think about thoroughly is the way tiny locks looks on thick and high density hair. It's going to be a bit difficult for you to put in a bond, and you're not going to be having this slim, perfect looking ponytail. Okay, maybe when your hair has become so long like this type, then you might be able to do that. But even at that, is it going to be like a bit awkward for you to put in a bun. And of course some people do not mind this. In fact, they love the volume and the way it looks so big and wide on their head. But some people don't. Someone like me, I don't like that look. Okay, I know the density and the thickness of my hair, so I avoided it. Okay. Next category is micro loc. When it comes to micro locs has a lot of options for you to decide on, or like for people that feel, okay, I don't want my hair to be this tiny, or I don't want it to be this big, or I want it to be that big. We also give you the option of on deciding the method of starter locs that you want to start with, and it also gives you the option to do the hair yourself. If you know how to braid, if you know how to install 2-strand twist, you have the option of doing it yourself, which is the DIY micro locs. You could start with 2-strand twist, you could start with braid locks, finger curls, comb curls, or even instant locks with micro locs. Okay, micro locs ranges between the number of 150 strands of locks to as high as 1,000 strands of lock. Yes, there are people with that number. I'm going to show you the lady that has such number if I come across a picture somewhere. Another thing with micro loc is that it's much more affordable compared to sister locks. Okay, it could also be as tiny as the thickness of a thread, and it could be as thick as the size of a pencil. The maintenance is much affordable and flexible compared to sister locks. So when it comes to traditional locks are generally known to be big size locks. Okay, though the number of strands that you can have on your head ranges between 3 strands of lock. Yeah, you can have as little as 3 strands of locks on your head to as much as 120 or plus strands of locks on your head. Okay, so if you are the type that love big size locks and you don't really have much time at hand to sit down for retie, retwist, and your hair is medium to high density, or you're thinking of, okay, I'm just going to carry this lock for a short while, or for its aesthetic beauty, because you know, brand look. So there's some people that they just love to be identified with a particular look. Another thing about traditional lock is that it could be freeform or semi-freeform. Okay, semi-freeform or freeform type of locks are more flexible when it comes to its maintenance. You're basically just going to allow your hair to do its things. To choosing the model to follow for your lock size, you want to make sure that it's going to be the same texture of hair with your hair, and it's going to be the same density of hair with your hair, because if it is not the same density of hair with yours, then the volume is going to look quite different from your own, and the end appearance, the way your locks are going to be appearing at the end of the day, is going to be different from what you're looking at if it does not have the same texture of hair with your own. Then another thing again is that when you are deciding, making your research as to what is going to fit you or not, your lifestyle and all that I've mentioned earlier on, there are a couple of sister locks on this platform that when they are talking about their lock journey on their channel, they usually talk about the struggle that they go through. They talk about particularly the curl pattern that they have. There are some people that have 2 or more curl patterns of hair on their head, and there are some people that have just about 2, and some have just 1, but the texture is usually different, which is like the general thing, because everybody has less dense hair at the perimeter of their head, and some it could be at the center of the head or even at the back. But as for me, I have the same curl pattern, but the textures are different. Okay, so if you fall into the category of those that have 2 or 3 different curl patterns, you want to make sure that you are following this person's lock journey, or you're looking at the locks with critical eyes to make sure that, oh, so this is how my locks is going to appear at the end of the day. You are going to be sure of what your locks are going to look like after installation and after a couple of months. In order for me to further my explanation and in order for you to understand exactly what I've been saying, let me talk about my own experience when I was about to install my locks. Okay, very first thing that I thought of is the way I look when I have my braids on. I usually gravitate towards braids before, and I realized that I do more of braid size that is generally known as feathers. Okay, and I hardly do the big size locks, so I felt, okay, I think I look better, or there must be something that I love about this braid that made me to do it a lot. And so I went through my pictures and I realized that this is the braid that fits me the most, so I decided to go for micro locks. Okay, well, because you know micro locks is flexible and I wanted to do my hair myself, so I ended up with micro locks. With the way my locks turned out at the end of the day, I'm not mad at all. I am not disappointed, and I'm so happy that this is what made me to decide on that. Like, I can do my hair anytime that I want. It is exactly the size that I want it to be. Okay, and even when you compare the look to a typical feathers braid, that you will see the similarity in what I'm talking about. So these are the things that you have to put into consideration before you decide on which size of lock is perfect for you. Okay, all right guys, thank you once again for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you love the video, and stay blessed, stay beautiful, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.